From the tragedy that happened 1 year ago tomorrow, Senator Mikulski has been in the forefront of bringing us together, working with the Obama administration to make it clear that this type of incident can never happen again on the nation's transit system. It shouldn't happen anywhere in this country. The Washington Metro is the nation's transit system. It was constructed in part to help federal workers get to work. The transit stations are critically important to the operation of our capital, and it's critically important to the Pentagon. So we want to make sure that the nation's transit system is not only the most effective, but the safest of any transit system in this country. As we now commemorate the 1-year anniversary, our hearts and prayers go out to the families of the 8 who lost their lives, the dozens who were injured and their families, and our commitment to make sure this never happens again. So yes, as Senator Mikulski pointed out, we're going to fight for the Metro funding. We've already done that. The $150 million, the $1.5 billion over 10 years, to provide the dollars necessary to replace the cars for the modern types of cars, to make sure the system has all the resources it needs. We also are fighting for expanding service, although I must tell you our highest priority is to make sure that the current service is done in an effective, safe way. All those are priorities, but there is no higher priority than the safety of the people who use the transit system and the people who work for the transit system. That is our top priority and must take the top precedent. Now, we need to do more. The legislation that Senator Mikulski authored so that we have federal standards for safety is common sense and logical. And we need to get that legislation complete. We need to change the culture within the Washington transit system to make sure that they place safety as their top priority. The interim management has made those commitments. We need to make sure that they become institutionalized. So we are here today to make it clear that we won't tolerate a system that does not place safety as its top priority. We think some changes have taken place over the last year. More needs to be done, and we certainly need to pass federal legislation that institutionalizes the federal role in providing safety standards for the nation's transit system. The local governments, the state of Maryland, the state of Virginia, the District of Columbia have all committed to the funding of WMATA. The Congress acted in the last Congress by approving the $1.5 billion authorization for the federal share of WMATA. Last year, the Congress put $150 million into the President's budget. This year, we're starting from a stronger position in that the President has brought forward this year's $150 million in his budget. It's been the highest priority of our congressional delegation to make sure the funding is there. But I just want to underscore the point that Senator Mikulski has said. We've got to make sure the funding is there, but there can't be blank checks. Safety, there must be accountability. We've got to protect the safety of those who use our transit system and our workers. That has to be our top priority. There has to be accountability. There's a lot of cars that have been replaced. They have changed that system. They also have the warning systems that are now changed. They now know when workers are working on the lines that they're working on the lines. They didn't know that a year ago. So it's the fundamental structure has been changed. There's regular safety reporting to top management as to what is being done to make sure that the operating system is safe, that you don't have two trains in the same space at the same time. See, some things that should have been in place last year were not, and so that has fundamentally changed. But we have to make sure that there are standards that are going to be met once the television lights have been turned off, that we have to make sure that the safety is integrated into the way that they do their management.